Hi guys, this is Mihai reporting from LangFest 2017. I'm here with Olly Richards.
Morning.
How are you, Olly?
Good, thank you.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. So you participated in last year's LangFest.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And how did you find last year?
Well, it was fantastic. I mean, it was my first time in Canada, first time in Montreal, and also first time meeting a lot of people who are into languages on this side of the Atlantic, because a lot of Polyglot events tend to be in Europe. So I met new people, new countries. I mean, it was just, yeah, it was wonderful.
Very interesting. And what you presented as well last year?
I did, yeah, I presented last year.
What was your presentation about?
Last year it was something quite specific, actually. It was about blogging and how to tips for starting a language-related blog or podcast or YouTube channel. Because a lot of people at these events are very talented language learners, and they have a lot to contribute to the world in terms of advice and ideas and or even teaching and things like that. So I wanted to give my thoughts on the best way to get your message out there and help people with their language learning.
Very cool. That sounds amazing. And
it's on YouTube. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube.
Awesome. What do you think of the lineup this year? I mean, all the different people that are going to be speaking.
Yeah, I mean, it just gets better and better. I mean, I'm sure I could run through the lists of people who are presenting, but we've got everyone from people like Stephen Krashen to who's I believe the most cited applied linguist in the world.
Right.
I used to train as a teacher, and I grew up reading his research, and so it's great to meet him. And then of course we've got many other people who now I'm lucky enough to count as friends as well. People like Richard Simcoe, Alex Rawlings, Steve Kaufman. So it's fantastic.
Very cool. Yeah, we also have Bella, one of the youngest polyglots.
Well, there's so many more people as well that we can't mention. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so you're going to present this year as well?
Yes.
What are you going to talk about this year?
So this year I'm talking about the art of memory. When you're learning a language, one of the most important jobs you have as a language learner is to memorize, or is to grow a big vocabulary, right? You can't speak a language without a large vocabulary.
Right.
And people learn vocabulary in lots of different ways. But one of the ways that, for new language learners, people that aren't experienced, the way that the challenge of growing their vocabulary is perceived is a memory problem. Mm-hmm. And so what I've been working on over the last year is different ways of thinking about the challenge of learning vocabulary, which has to do with memory, it has to do with the way that you study in general. Lots of different things are related. And so I've been working on trying to create a kind of a framework for approaching memorizing vocabulary in a new language. I'm going to talk about my experiences with that.
That sounds amazing. I'm definitely going to check it out because I'm looking into that. I need all the help that I can get. Just a couple of questions also. Yeah. When did you decide you wanted to become a polyglot?
I never decided that.
Take us through how you became a polyglot.
For a start, I don't particularly like the term polyglot because I think it's a label that kind of positions you as this thing, which I think can be a little bit intimidating for people who are not so-called polyglots, who are just starting with their language learning. I mean, languages for me have always been only one thing, which is a way to communicate with people that I'm interested in or become friends with. And so in every case, with all my languages, I've made friends with some people and decided to learn their language because I thought that was cool. That's just the way I think. And so I've learned the language in order to better communicate with groups of people, either where I live, in the place that I live, or in the country that I've been living in. So it's always been a means to an end. You know, the language itself is only a means to an end. Like the end being communication and living a better life, better able to understand other people, other cultures. And so it started off with French for me. I moved to Paris when I was 19. Bought a one-way ticket. I had no money. Didn't speak any French.
Wow.
Silly. The kind of thing you can only do when you're 19, right?
Right.
And I didn't know how to learn languages, but I applied myself to learning French, and over the following 6 months, I learned it, got quite good at it, and there were lots of benefits that came with that. I could speak to people, I could learn things and become close to people in a way that you can only do when you speak their language, and so that just gave me a bit of a bug, really. And so after that, I went on to learn other languages, Italian, Spanish. Each time, my confidence growing because I knew that I could, and it was possible. It was only many years later that I actually realized that there is a term for that, which is a polyglot. But it's not like I set out to do that. I just set out to live my life, and languages emerged as a theme.
Very cool. Very cool. And last question, where do you get your motivation to keep going? Are you learning any new languages now?
Yeah, so I'm learning Cantonese right now.
Wow.
It's part of my longer term project. My motivation comes from exactly the thing that I just described, which is wanting to communicate with people. In the case of Cantonese, I want to be able to, I have, for example, I'm going to Hong Kong early next year for a couple of months. I want to be able to speak the language when I'm there. It makes sense, right?
Right.
Now, on the other hand, last year I learned Thai. I spent 2 weeks doing an intensive Thai mission. I didn't get very far, but I could have a very basic conversation in the 2 weeks that I learned it. After that, I went back to London. In London, I have no Thai friends. I have no Thai community, no access to Thai whatsoever, and I ended up essentially giving up because it didn't make any sense in my life at all. So my motivation to learn languages comes from the people that I want to communicate with, and that it's as simple as that.
Awesome. Merci beaucoup pour ton temps et salut.
Au revoir.